Hello there, and welcome to the first video tutorial for TrackVerse Alpha. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how you'll be setting up your own custom track folders as well as using the world editor. But before we can begin using the world editor, it is important to first set up your custom track folder. Open up the tracks directory. As you notice, there will be several folders within the tracks directory. These are all the custom tracks that has been created as samples for your reference. So create a new folder called my track, and within it you need to create another folder called worlds. This is where the world editor will save your track or .world file. The next step will be to create a depend.cfg file by using Notepad. So open up Notepad. I've already pre-typed these lines, which you'll need to type it in yourself. Now, what do these lines mean? Basically, what they mean is your custom track now will have access to these two theme packs, which is the city theme pack as well as the post-apocalyptic theme packs. The depend.cfg file may contain several more custom tracks, custom theme packs, depending on the total number of theme packs that you need to build your tracks. The next thing we need to do is to set the numbering for the theme pack. This numbering is important because the world editor will determine which skybox or background sky to use for your custom track. So if I've set number 1 for the post-apocalyptic theme, it means the world editor will use the post-apocalyptic theme skybox. So with that, we'll save as all files, depend.cfg, save, and close it. So now we've created an empty worlds folder and a depend.cfg file to tell the world editor which theme packs that your custom track will depend on. Go back to TrackVerse and open up the bin folder. You need to locate another file called editor.cfg. Open it up with the Notepad as well. Here under world are the custom tracks that has been created early on in this alpha version. So to edit your track, you'll need to create a similar line like this, remove the comments text, and set your directory that you've created earlier as well as the name of the track itself. So save it and close. Please bear in mind that the world editor can only edit one track at a time. So now you're ready to begin editing your custom track. Double click on the world editor and you'll see several rendering options available for you, such as rendering subsystem, Direct3D, and OpenGL. Please bear in mind that this TrackVerse Alpha version does not support OpenGL rendering. Only Direct3D 9 is supported at this moment. And you'll have full screen support, yes or no, VSync, video mode, and let's just click OK for now. Okay, once the world editor has completed loading, you'll notice that there will be several windows which you can move around by clicking on the title and moving it, as well as resizing the windows. You can also minimize each window by left clicking on the top right icon of each window. Please notice that all minimized windows will be located on the lower left of the screen. We have the entity, zone, view settings, environments, stats. So let's open up the view settings for now. You can enable or disable the grid. You can also enable or disable post-processing options such as refraction, depth of field, anti-aliasing. Let's just turn everything off for now. To pan the view within the world editor, you need to hold down the middle mouse button and move it around. To rotate, press shift and middle mouse button to rotate the view. To place your first object in the scene, press space bar. A create entity window will pop up and you'll be able to select different themes which you specified in the depend.cfg file earlier. So let's select the post-apocalyptic theme one set, and under each theme there will be several categories as well as subcategories. So let's just create a very simple road block here and left click to place it in the scene. You can also use the middle mouse button while you're selecting objects. To demonstrate, press space bar and scroll the middle mouse button to scroll along the objects selected. Right click to cancel. The right click button is also used to select objects. And once an object is selected, you'll notice a transform gizmo where you can click on it and move it anywhere you like. Or you can just press the G key plus the axis that you wish to move it to. Say for GY to move it along the Y axis, GX to move it along the X axis, and GZ to move it along the Z axis. The shortcut key for rotating is R, or you can just select the type of the gizmo here to set to rotate, where similar to translate you can also select the axis you wish to rotate it in, or you could just press R and the axis that you wish to rotate it in, say RY, RX, and RZ. Let's switch it back to translate. To focus an object that's, let's say, it's outside or nowhere near the center of the window, you need to first select the object and then press the numeric pad delete to recenter it in the screen, to center your selection to the screen. To zoom in and zoom out, you can also use the middle mouse button to scroll in, scroll out the view. Okay? And to change to an orthographic view mode, press the numpad key 5. To switch back to perspective, press the numpad key 5 again. You can also switch to the top, front, side views by pressing the numpad 7 for the top view, or Control 7 for the bottom view, 1 for the side view, Control 1 again for the other side, numpad 3 for the front view, and Control numpad 3 for the back view again. So let's go to the top view and enable orthographic mode by pressing the numpad 5. This will allow us to have a much easier way to align the object to the scene. Now with the first object selected, you can duplicate objects by pressing Shift D and moving it along. Shift D again and moving it. Bear in mind, you can also group multiple objects together by selecting right mouse click and hold down Shift and pressing Ctrl G to group it as a single object, as a single group. So as you notice, this bunch of road pieces has been grouped together. To ungroup, press Ctrl Shift G. So these three objects has been ungrouped. You can also select multiple objects by pressing the B key, boy, and move your mouse. Where you will create a rectangular marquee, and once you're satisfied with the selection, press the left mouse button to select everything within the rectangular marquee. But let's just create a simple roundabout track for now. So I'm just going to press space bar and select a bend. I've clicked to place it in the scene. Top view, orthographic, G to move, GY Y to move it along the Y-axis, and I'll just repeat the same process over. Shift D to duplicate, G to move again, Shift D, G to move, R to rotate, Okay, what we have now is a very simple roundabout track which you can now test using the game itself. But before that, there's also another function in the world editor called the free flying mode, which is activated by pressing the F4 key. As you notice, the mouse cursor has disappeared, and to move around you need to press the WASD key to navigate, similar to other first-person shooting games. To move faster, press the WASD keys plus Shift. This is very useful for moving around the track faster and where the middle mouse scroll button doesn't work so well. Please bear in mind that while in the free flying mode you cannot edit the tracks. To exit free flying mode, press the F4 key again. We're now going to create a spawn point for where the player's vehicle will spawn. Spacebar. Under the theme, select miscellaneous, and under prefabs you notice there will be several spawn points, sensor, portals, and so on and so forth. Let's just select the spawn point for now, and left click to place it in the scene. Top view, move it to somewhere along the track. As you notice, moving object gives it, using the G key or just pressing the axis, gives it a larger snapping motion. To move an object in much finer increments, hold the axis, press the axis key or the G, and press Shift. As you notice, the spawn point is now moving in smaller increments. To move it freely without any increments, press the axis key again and hold down Control. As you notice, the spawn point is now moving without snapping to any smaller grid size. So let's just place it somewhere near the track. Okay, the total number of spawn points will determine the total number of players that are within the track. So if your track has 2 player, supports 2 players, just create 2 spawn points, Shift D to duplicate it and move it somewhere. And if it's 3 players, duplicate it again. To delete an object within the world editor, with the object selected, press X. For this case, we'll just have a single player test. Delete the second spawn point. And you can now save the scene by pressing Ctrl S. To test the test level, press Escape to exit the world editor and double click on the TrackVerse.exe file to load up the game. Okay, once you have loaded up the TrackVerse game itself, select host game, and as you notice, your custom track My Track is also part of the custom track list itself. Click next. You can change vehicle here. Currently there are 2 vehicles for selection in TrackVerse, but in the future we'll be adding more vehicle selections. Let's just select Craft 2 and start the game. At this point, it's very important for you to play test the track again and again, or as many times as you like, until you're satisfied with the level layout or the track layout itself. Before beginning to beautify and fill up the world with buildings, props, and so on and so forth. This to reduce the amount of rework that will be required, say if you made a mistake in the track. So with that, I'd like to conclude the first part of this tutorial. The next part will include adding and beautifying the level itself. To quit the game, press escape. And thank you for watching.